Easy E, how are we?
Johnny. Oh, Seán.
What's up? How are you?
I worked out for the first time in about 6.5 days, maybe 7. Yeah, 7 days. Oh, I'm in a heap.
You know what? I'm 7 days and counting to the last time I did anything at all. So we're recording this on a Monday afternoon. The last thing I've done was last Monday. Was the last time I went for a light run. I was set up good for the week, and then I'll talk about it in a minute or two. But my God, has everything gone downhill for me since then? But first, since you're in a heap, I'll let you tell your quick story, and then I'll feel better about gloating about mine.
No, just, you know what, Seán, just cue the intro. Come on.
Right, cue the intro music, guys. We will have some interesting facts for you at the tail end of this, we promise. And with that said, hit the intro music. Let's go. Tell you what, though, my battery life in the Garmin is lasting a lot longer than normally does, because I haven't used the fucking thing.
I'm charging it every 4 days. This thing is still beeping at me. It's brilliant.
Well over a week at this stage. Anyway, easy. How are we getting on?
Good. I am just still in holiday. I have to say, we'll make all the excuses. When I was building for the marathon, and then when I got taken away, it kind of took away because marathon's big. It's like, right, you need to be consistent, you need to do this. And now I've gone to the triathlon, but unfortunately or fortunately, there's two ways to look at it. The positive side is I know I could do it tomorrow. I mightn't do it in a great time, but I know I could do it tomorrow. Whereas with a marathon, you can't just show up and do it. So
100%.
I feel like I have an exam tomorrow, and I'm going to go to McDonald's and watch Cool Runnings before I'm going to start studying. I'm going to just keep kicking the assignment down the road. But last night I was lying in bed and I just said to her, I was like, I need to get back training. I feel terrible. I just felt lethargic. I felt everything, and it's the lifestyle change is starting to happen again. I don't like it. I prefer the lifestyle of being active. But yeah, it's the assignment is due, and I had to get training. So sometimes it works for people. It definitely works for me. So we've 3.5 weeks till the event. So have to put in the work now for 3.5 weeks.
It's so hard. I thought about the same thing at the start of the podcast last week. It was such a kick in the gut not to do the Dublin Marathon not going ahead and having that one thing to aim for. And I've had a couple of other things that I've had in mind that have also been, one of them recently just got a kick in the can. I was like, that's not happening now. And it's so hard to get up and motivate and train and have that thing to aim for when you know that that challenge isn't there. It's hard to push yourself the extra little bit, especially with things opening up and being summertime and different things going on. The chance to go away for a couple of days like myself did and you did last week as well. It just gets hard to get back into the swing of things again, but we will.
Yeah, and it is funny, and I suppose the reason why we're always so honest about what we're doing is because we're just average people, and there's probably about 2 million people in the same boat as us that, things have changed. We're no longer restricted, and some of us are vaccinated and have the passport to go into a restaurant or to travel over or to go here, there, and everywhere, and we're using it because we haven't been able to do it for so long. So, to be honest, and it is something we say to people. I'm always telling people, consistency is key. But there is a life element to it as well. And I felt, maybe you felt the same. I felt like for the last 6 weeks, part of me was making up for lost time of all the life stuff we weren't able to do, road trips in the country and this, that, and the other, and trying to maintain the fitness. But fitness kind of went on the back burner where I got to meet a couple of friends for it's I kind of just got lazy as well. Let's call it a spade. But it was a lot of last minute decisions to go here and there, depending on restrictions and how things are opening up. And I'd say a lot of people are in the same boat. That's why I'm not afraid to kind of talk about it and say, I chose the finer sides of life instead of the running side of life for the last 6 weeks or so, 6 or 7 weeks.
And here's the other thing, and this, out of all the things I've had an ego and being stupid about, this is beyond the most stupidest thing. You've got vaccinated a little while back, and you went through the first two. You're like, no, not a bother. I got the first one in, not a bother. And then, 16 weeks later, you had to wait a long time for your second one, 12, 16 weeks. So your second one came in. Not a bother. I was grand. I was like, well, I'm going to be grand. If he's grand with it, I'm going to be grand with it. Stupid, completely stupid. So I got the first one grand, not a bother. Second one, you take your paracetamol before. The second one's first thing in the morning. So it was 8:30. I took the paracetamol before I came back. Paracetamol, worked throughout the entire day. Went, did coaching that evening, came back. You know, it felt great. I was like, you know what? I won't do a run. Do a run in the morning. I had started last Monday. Great track. Like, you know what? I'll do it in the morning. As soon as I lay down in bed, I was like, we're not feeling good. Haven't slept right since. I was up all night Tuesday with the sweats and everything, just in an awful way. Trying to recover Wednesday, did a bit, and then I then slept half a day Wednesday, which completely killed my sleep routine. Thursday, Friday, pretty much the same. And then what we'll talk about later was I had a presentation to do down in Tipperary for college, which I did a marathon running to help out this podcast as well. Multiple things done at once, which we'll get to in a little bit. So I did that, and then I was in Galway for a couple of nights, and I'm still not fully vaccinated, so I was eating and drinking and all the rest outdoors, and still haven't got my sleep pattern down. But that's why I've only had the one run in so far. But yeah, I felt awful. Now I'm not saying don't get vaccinated. Obviously, I know people have their own stupid little things on Twitter, but in my opinion, just get vaccinated, get it over and done with, because you know we take everything else, and that's all we're going to talk about politically on that. But yeah, no, just the second one just laid the smackdown on me pretty much. I was an awful way.
It's just nice to know you are actually soft. I know I've always but you are actually soft.
I'm going to throw one back at you. I was telling that to a couple of people. I can't remember. Someone told me to go, well, there's a theory going out there that people have their second vaccination, that the more fit and the more in the gym, the stuff they are, the more attacks that their immune system, the more they're in a bad way afterwards. And I was like, I don't understand. It make me feel better, but I'm taking that. It's probably just a theory that won't hold any water, but I'm taking it as gospel. And I was so fit, and that's why that second vaccination got to me.
Yeah, but if you're soft in the brain, it affects you even more. So yeah, there you go.
Still got me work done. Don't get me wrong.
Anyone can win an argument. You can make statistics to win any argument. You know, it depends on who you.
You really can.
There's obviously a lot of fit, soft people that got tested there, and they said, "Yeah, no, it hurts us more." Yeah, but anyway, I know. Look, it does have a different effect. I'm the lucky one, and probably one of those that was a dangerous one, because if I ever got COVID, I probably wouldn't have had any symptoms. You know, so yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it is nice to have it done. It is nice. I remember the day I did it though. I was supposed to do a long run, and I made the most adult decision I think I've ever made. I've done a lot of things, like, you know, been out the night before, ran a half marathon, the next still half full of vodka. But when it was about the vaccine, I said no, I'm gonna take the day off. so yeah, like that. I kind of felt maybe a little bit that night in the chest. I was kind of like, ooh, I think if I was highly exercising, I probably would have been in trouble. But once I woke up, I didn't. It was noticeable difference, but I was just went to sleep, woke up, brand new shampoo. So
I just never went to sleep, and she was killing me because I was tossing and turning and hitting the pillow with an elbow drop off the top rope and everything, tossing, turning over and back. And she was like, "I'm going to kill you right now." I'm like, it's not my fault I can't sleep. I got the sweats and all the rest, and it's done. It's done now. Trying to get back into the routine. I just need a good hard session just to get it out of me so that I'll sleep that night. And then I'm hoping now, I'm recording this now Monday afternoon. I've got a bit of coaching to do later this evening. I'm hoping after that get out, get a good run in, and then hopefully sleep like a baby tonight, because I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then try and get that sleep pattern back going, because that's one of the most important things, getting the 7 hours in.
Yeah, only a week ago we were saying, "Oh, I'd love when saunas come back." You got a sauna in your bedroom the other night. Now you're still complaining. Yeah, I went to the gym. I joined the new gym, Sean.
Yes.
I was going to join the aquatic centre, and I was looking up the prices, and it was like €59 or something. I was like, geez, that's a bit steep. It's a great facility and stuff, don't get me wrong, but it's a busy facility, you know, like, and it just seemed a little bit expensive. So I was coming back from the airport from working out there, and I didn't want to deal with the M50 because there's a lot of traffic now. I was like, nah, I'm going to go to back roads and take my time. The drive is 10 minutes more anyway, but at least I'm moving, you know, because so I stopped at the lights, and I didn't think, do you know the way people put up big signs on buildings? Didn't think it worked. But this big sign on the building said, gym membership, join today, call, and the phone number was in big writing. Even you could see it without your glasses. This thing was huge. So it's the Alta Club out in the airport. So while I was sitting there, I typed it into the car. I was like, yeah, ring the number. And I got talking to a really nice man. He was like, oh, sure, call in. I'll show you around. This place is great. Yeah. I was like, oh, he knows how to sell it. So I went in, and I have to say, it's probably the best kept secret in Dublin. It is unbelievable. There's a gym with like everything you could want in a gym. There's side TRX rooms that you can use yourself. There's another side room, which is pretty much a cardio room with bikes and treadmills. If you don't want to be involved in the weighty kind of section, there's still treadmills in there too as well. Then you go down, you've a massive basketball court, huge basketball court that you can use with all sorts of gymnastic stuff laid out that you can use, and benches and whatever else. You can make up a workout, be creative. They have an indoor running track that goes around the basketball court that's 150 meters. Brilliant. So, you get good intervals in there when it's lashing rain and windy and you don't feel like it. And then they have a recovery pool. It's about 10 meters long, 4 foot deep, that you can just stretch in and relax in and cool down in beside a jacuzzi and steam room sauna. And they were closed. And I was thinking, I missed the sauna. But
still closed with the restrictions, yeah.
Yeah. And then outdoors is a 400-meter running track, which I'm going to put up a picture of today. And they have a swimming pool as well, 25 meters, which is just in a kind of a second campus, which is a 2-minute drive away. But it's €33 a month.
Oh, happy out. It was near enough to you, and you know what you're doing, and you're sorted.
It's absolutely brilliant. I couldn't believe it. It's absolutely fantastic. Now, hopefully, I like advertising places, but I don't want people to join. I don't want it to get busier. I don't want more people out there.
Should have made up a different name for it. Yeah, no, it's a couple of miles west of the Liffey. I don't know.
Yeah. But I have to say, I do appreciate value for money, but I was actually blown away by the resources that are actually there. And there's football pitches, tennis courts, everything that once you remember, you can actually use. We can go play, and there's a bowl, and it was. I pleasantly surprised. Yeah, it was, and me and you do all our own training. I don't need much. I need a mat and a road, and I'm happy enough. But obviously with the marathon change, and we're the long distance game is kind of gone for the winter now. We're going to start working on the triathlon game and try and continue that into longer over the winter. But yeah, it was really nice to go back into a gym that wasn't packed. First of all, I wouldn't like it to be in a pack. I wouldn't like to be in some of the bigger name gyms where there's a lot of people. I wouldn't like that at all. This was nice and left alone, but it was good to get back working out, lifting weights, which is something I have not done in a very long time.
I'd say you're feeling the big boy.
Yeah. It was good. It was good. But again, I wasn't silly about it. It kind of took the technique of, I'm just going to, do these feel heavy? No. Okay, let's do these. It's, you and I know.
Exercise and form.
Yeah. It's all about form and just getting the muscles kind of used to working in that direction again. And, a lot of people trying, the ego kicks in as well. Like there were some 67-year-old men there pumping big iron, and they're older gentlemen. And I was there at my 2 kilos, doing my extensions and just, limbering up the body and going for a run. But it is great to be back in it. It is great to change up the training. And I know from talking to a few other, even Austin, he'd be listening, Howie Austin, he's even kind of getting a little bit bored of the running as well. He's like, I just want to lift weights and cycle and swim and change it up. You can only do something for so long, and then you need to kind of let it go then and change it up for your own sanity and change up your routine and your workouts. But it is great. It's nice. I'm excited. It is nice to have a facility, because a lot of the times when you're training at home, and I know probably a lot of the listeners, you've probably had this as well, Seán, when you're at home and you've all your home comforts, when you have that 50-50, will I train or not? If you haven't got the motivation, most times it turns into the not. Whereas if you get into the car and say, well, if I get into the car and drive there, I will have done something. You can look at it as, what did I do? I actually just walked on the treadmill for 10 minutes. Well, it's 10 minutes more than you did on the couch. So it's nice to have a facility that you can go to. And the same way I like to leave work at work, I can leave my training at training. The only thing I'll have here is the bike on the turbo trainer, and that'll be about it. But yeah, so it is exciting. It is good. And I don't know if other people are kind of suffering with that kind of element.
It is one of those things we just need to find something, and that can't change. Like, you had it before with your triathlon season and all the rest, and then marathon season and different things like that. The body, it is good to start switching things up and going from there. Speaking of Aussie Dog, because I'm going to shoehorn this in like the middle of the podcast. I meant to do like a start of an intro in this one of the weeks. He put up something interesting in the stories there a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, nah, that's not true. That's not true. So as you're talking, I was trying to search it, I can't find it, but I was watching this sport on Saturday before the presentation. One of them, Saturday or Sunday, Friday. I was watching on RTE the walking in the Olympics.
Oh my God.
50K walk, right?
50K walk in.
Have you seen the times?
Yeah.
3 hours and 50 minutes they're doing it in the blistering heat for a walk. I'm like, I barely got a marathon done in that time. Oh, those 3.5 hours. Was it 3.5 hours for a 50K walk?
No, 350. You're right, 350.
It was 350, was it? It was 350. 350 for that. I think the world record he put up in the stories was something like 17 or 18 minutes for like the fastest 5K walk. So just for people going, how is that possible? What's the definition? The definition of the walking compared to running in the Olympics is that 1 foot has to maintain contact with the floor. Like, imagine if like you're in second, you're trying to catch up the first, and trying to keep that technique. Like, part of you just wants to go feck it and sprint past them. Yeah. But these guys are walking faster than we're running.
I know, and insane. I don't know, when I get tired, my hips wiggle. So I reckon I have a good chance of that walking.
I reckon you have the technique down for us perfectly.
But it is amazing to watch. It looks bizarre. It looks like they're trying to dislocate their knees on every side. But they're going on a 4-minute kilometer. You know, like it is absolutely amazing to watch, and it's bizarre. Like, I've never been so entertained by watching a group of men going for a walk and just being amazed by what they were doing on this walk.
And it's the same with all sports. Like, we see marathon runners, or even we see like Formula One and stuff like that. The speed just doesn't come across in the telly and how fast those boys are going, because they, like you said, they're walking faster than myself and yourself would do our 5K PBs. Like, and that's based over like they're going for a 50K. The pace they're keeping for the 50K is faster than what me and you would do in our pace for a 5K. We're not comparing ourselves to athletes where 10% of the run means we should be able to run faster before we get absolutely knackered at the end. But they're doing 50K in a walk pace faster than that. It's just bananas to think of. Like, next time you're going for your 5K PB, and just look to your left and realize like these people will be able to walk and keep up with you and probably go faster than most of us, that most people listen to this podcast.
It's unbelievable. It is nuts. And the Olympics is great. I really, really enjoyed watching it, and all the different sports that I was just getting hyped up for no reason, even though I didn't know. I was like, how did they win? I don't know, but that was cool. You know, the karate and I'll come back to another one. It's just sport talk and Olympic talk. There's one thing I have to talk about, but I also hate the Olympics because I went for a 5K today and I did an easy one in 27 minutes. And then I remember watching the 5K women's race and how quick they were running a sub 3 minute at points. Oh my God. I was like, anyway, it's just so hard. I think everyone should do a 5K in their life to appreciate athletics. You know, like, you don't have to run. Say, when you get down to the 1,500 meters, that's a different kind of animal. Even again, they're going at a different speed. That's like a 1,500. Like, everyone will give that a go, but you'll have no appreciation for speed. But when you go into the distance with speed, then you're like, okay, that is amazing. The 5K, the 10K, and even the marathon, they were running at a sub 4 for the marathon. You know, like
the heat they were running at was just unbelievable. Like, insane heat over there. There's no way I'd last 500 meters, let alone 5K in the heat those boys are going in, and girls obviously as well.
A lot of the Irish athletes will do hot camps and hot training camps and whatever, but you do have to give extra credit where credit is due. Coming from the last couple of weeks in COVID, travel, they've probably been training a lot in Ireland, maybe somewhere in Spain, but for the majority in Ireland. And then
somewhere over in the States, and they moved it up. They moved it up north, so it wouldn't be as humid. And all of a sudden, it was the exact same, like as they would have been in the Olympic thing. So they missed the Olympic Village. and still had to deal with the exact same heat they were hoping to avoid. I felt awful for him in that respect. But a hell of an achievement to even get into that stage, let alone attempting a marathon in that heat. Like, it's just unbelievable.
But there's one thing we said we might as well ask a conversation. I don't know if anyone saw it, but there was a karate gold medal fight, and
No.
the guy was up Azerbaijan against, it could have been Korea or China or one of them. Anyway, he or Thailand. He was 4-1 up, and they were shimmying and shammying, and then your man threw a left kick to his jaw and knocked the other guy out. But the referees deemed it to be too aggressive for the sport and fired him. So while the guy is panned out on the ground, he
won a gold medal.
I was like, sign me up for the Olympics. I'm just gonna wind the other person up so that you batter me, and then I'll win.
He was probably growing up and being like, I'm gonna win the Olympics one day. I'm gonna win the Olympic gold medal. And the lads were like, in your dreams. He literally was in his dreams, and he was told he won a gold medal.
He just fell like a tree, lay there, and got a gold medal. It was absolutely
unbelievable.
Amazing. Like he's still on the ground coming to terms with it while the umpires are having a little discussion about disqualifying the other fella.
Isn't it mad? You watch all the sports and you just have like no concept. Like if you see karate and someone gets kicked in the jaw, you're like, oh, that person wins. Even I was seeing Natalia Coyle doing the pentathlon and having the horses and stuff. And oh my God, like I love horses, but that horse we taken to the woodshed. Oh man, it was
very hard. I saw the video in RTE, I think it was on Twitter, but I think they've taken it down. But it was hilarious. Not because of what was happening to Natalia Coyle, but because of the commentary. Yeah. So they have your regular, I don't know who the regular commentator is, I can't remember his name, but then they bring in an expert or someone who knows about the field, but this person knew about horses. And like usually it goes well. So they kind of just come in with the extra bits of info. But because this was happening and it was live, you could hear the raw kind of stuff coming out of him. And it is a horsey term, and it's used quite often in horses. But he just goes, look at this horse, it's a tramp. A little tramp of a thing. Look at it. Oh, yeah, refusing again. Oh, this is bad. And then when Natalia brought the horse around, she skipped the fence. She knew like she just had to get home.
Yeah.
She was like, watch this tramp now when he turns the corner. He knows he's going back to the stable. He'll jump these two fine. And then sure enough, the horse leapt over them like good old. And it was like, I told you it was a tramp. I think they've taken it down or something. I thought it was hilarious, but it was not funny for the athlete.
No.
I almost, watching her interview, I almost cried with her. It was
same. I say because I didn't see a lot of the Olympics, but I saw that now. I don't think I saw the live version of it because I saw as the commentators like they're talking as if they know what's happened already, so it wasn't live. And I saw her interview afterwards, and of course she was there with me, so I kind of I literally had to just look away. I was looking at the laptop. I had looked at the laptop during it, and she was well up looking at it, and it's so heartbreaking. Like my heart went out. I couldn't even watch that interview knowing how much she put into it. Like it was just
and it's your whole career and the last event in her career to be in a joint bronze medal position going into the last two events, and if you jump well, who knows where she'll be. And the same thing happened for the person who was in gold medal, the German. They got a little bit more extreme than we did, but yeah, it was just heartbreaking. But
mad rules.
It is mad. But again, because we have done events, not saying we've ever done a modern pentathlon, but the understanding of how good you have to be in each individual sport.
Yeah.
And how much time she would have had to put in each individual sport.
I'd be put down. It wasn't like she trained with that horse. And then it was like, now obviously we're obviously talking layman's here, guys. I'm not saying we know the ins and outs of pentathlon, but those that don't, like, correct me if I'm wrong on this one, Eric, you just get given a horse. You get given a horse and we're the best. So she was doing literally nothing wrong.
It's a lottery, yeah. So they draw the names out of the hat of who gets what horse, and two competitors ride on one horse. I think there could be 18 horses. And you're given 20 minutes familiarization with the horse, and then you go into the arena. So yeah, it is a lottery, unfortunately.
Yeah, and like you said, the two jumps at the end were like right towards the gate for the horse to leave, and the horse just like, I'm not leaving. And
He
he
knows
left, the
he's
head was
leaving.
down a bit.
Yeah,
He knew he was done, but he also knew the head was down. I was like, whoa, I did something
yeah.
wrong there.
But yeah,
Wow, man, my heart went out to her. Big time.
it was, but it was really good to watch. It was really good to watch for sport, and I know we harp on about being active, but I hope there's a lot of kids now that there's more social media. Now there's more. I really hope the kids are watching and going, that could be me, and that could be me. That does. There's a young guy from Cavan who was doing the badminton. It was like, like there's not many Irish kids going to the Olympics for badminton. Like it was. I do. It was inspiring to see the Irish athletes. It was good, and unfortunately, we'll forget about it now for 4 years, and then we'll think about it again. But I hope that's not the case. I hope people start going, oh, maybe there's a bit more about athletics. Yeah, it was great. It was entertaining. It was heartbreaking. It was good, and yeah, everything.
That's sport 101.
That is, well, yeah. But it was kind of nice as well being fat on the couch watching everyone else do all
this. No, man, I just feel like crap. Like I'm done now. I got to get back into the swing of things. But yeah, while I was going on, and once again shoehorning in other conversations, I did the presentation down there. I was doing on injuries and running and stuff like that. But I did find one stat that I found was good. So they did a couple of studies on marathon runners and
the vaccine and being soft. No, or a different one.
No. I haven't concluded yet. That was the most, the fittest people get suffer the worst with it. I'm thankful you broke up when that when you start talking there. So that's why I was talking over you. I just said vaccine soft. Like, oh, here he goes again. But there was a study done on different marathon runners and at different levels, doing a couple of different marathons, and one of them was how much training and how much mileage they put in before. And obviously, the whole thing with the injuries was marathons are mostly overuse injuries. So, like in soccer and rugby, everything else, obviously there's collisions, there's concussions, there's ACLs and turns and all the rest. For marathons, just up and go. So it's going to be overuse injuries, and most of it's from the knee down. And even with the knee, they don't know exactly what's wrong. There's different elements of it. But one of the things was, what's that magic number that you have to hit in your weekly mileage? So it turned out that if you ran under 30 kilometers a week, you were more likely to get injured after doing a marathon. And that those that ran between 30 and 60 and 60 and more, there wasn't actually that much difference. Not in terms of results, but in terms of injuries. So if you are building towards a marathon, obviously this year with the virtual, maybe you're going off to different places, whatever, they say 30 kilometers is, you got to get to at least that each and every week to reduce, you're not going to avoid, to reduce your chances of injury. And like we talked about before, to get there, is bringing up to the 10% rule we've talked about before, is that don't increase your mileage by more than 10% each week. So find your baseline, ease into it, start slow to go fast and all the rest. And even if you're only doing 6-7K a week, then okay, next week I'm not going to try and do 15-16. Your baseline is that 6-7K. Now you're doing only a 7-8K and you're slowly building. And it'll add up over the weeks. Maybe you're starting off, 10-15 a week, getting 2-3K running a day, whatever it is, adds up to 10-15 a week. And then, you're adding, you're doing 11-16 then the following week and slowly building up. But I thought that 30K thing was interesting because we didn't get that the first marathon.
Yeah, we didn't. No, I think the furthest we ran was about probably 20K a week.
Yeah, we did one run. We did a half marathon, 20K. It's like, oh, I'm done for 2 weeks. I'm sitting back down. Where's the Olympics?
Stop. But it's it is interesting. But obviously, there's a lot of thought and everything that goes into that. But I'd imagine it is just building up that. Well, look. So if you're not, it's a double-edged sword. I think we'll say that with a caveat. I think it's right in terms of building up the mileage in the legs, the muscles, the bones. The bones will densen up a little bit with all the road running. You'll build up the tolerances, and the more miles you do, obviously, the better. But if you're not stretching and recovering right, running more miles isn't necessarily going to keep you injury free either. You have to be looking after yourself. You have to be doing your stretches. You have to be doing some of the injury prevention stuff. But if you were to compare someone who just bog standard ran then absolutely the more mileage would be better. But you're not totally safe just because you're running 70k a week. You know, you have to look after yourself.
The whole thing, yeah, the second half of the thing was actually building good warmths and stuff to make sure you're reducing injury and stuff like that. So like you said, you know, all that kind of, you know, glute activation and hamstrings and a lot of it actually was talking about, you know, a lot of people suffer Achilles, myself included. So the importance of what's called eccentric loading. That's like, I suppose if you're thinking of any exercise where you slowly lower the weight, before you do any sort of push, the slowly lowering is the eccentric portion of it. So how important that is to do to your calves to help reduce the risk of Achilles injury. So if you're doing calf raises, slowly lower for 4 to 5 seconds before pushing off for a second or two, and do a control. Don't just pop up on your toes as fast as you can. Building that up and slowly adding weight to it and having that in your sessions outside of your run can definitely help reduce the risk of getting injured. Like I said, you're never going to prevent injury 100%. It's just, you know, different things happen on a day and whatnot. But takeaways from that was definitely a 30K. Obviously, a 10% rule that we've talked about a lot on this podcast. And then like eccentric loading is fantastic for strength. So get used to the exercise first, practice your form, and then start thinking about having, you know, week blocks or 2 to 3 week mini blocks where you're going to focus on the eccentric portion of those lifts. So it could be, the weight will have to be lighter than you normally would, because the time and retention, i.e. how long it takes to do 8 reps, will take a lot longer on eccentrics, because each one's 4 or 5 seconds lower instead of maybe a second or two lower and back up. So maybe having little blocks like that. And just to bring this back full circle, that's one of the things you could do in your training, is change up the type of training you're doing, so you're not getting bored with the same type of rep scheme. You know, everyone talks to 3 sets of 8, 3 sets of 10 all over. Let's do 3 sets of 6. Let's do eccentrics. Let's do 5 second lower and have a week or 2 doing that. And then it could feel like a completely different program. And then you're building up something like that. But if you are doing eccentrics, the other caveat to that is don't start doing them on the week of a big race, because they're gonna hurt. They're gonna be like, oh, what is going on here? So make sure you're doing it on an off week and you're running, or you're doing limited running. Build them in and then start slowly adding them into your program.
Yeah, it is good, and I'm enjoying. I'm actually looking forward to lifting a few weights now and seeing because I've just kind of stuck to the bike and the run, but I want to see now, how far can I go? Will the weights actually help? Will the strength actually help in the water and on the bike and stuff? So it's going to be nice, and it is a nice and welcome change as well.
100%. You still doing the triathlon then, start of September? You're still set up?
Oh yeah, but like I said, the assignment is just due tomorrow, and I've left it till tonight to get ready for it. So
4 weeks then, is it?
Yeah, just under the 4 weeks. But yeah, no, it's going to be it's going to be a hard training plan, but yeah, I'll get it done.
On that note, I suppose that's a good way to wrap it up, just to have that hanging over you as we finish the podcast. I'm soft and you're well behind on your assignment. It's pretty much what we learned today.
Yeah, absolutely. As long as people remember you're soft. Well, anyway, it's been a pleasure, Seán.
No worries. On my end, that means I'm definitely going to run some way this evening, somehow, some way, getting it done, which means I'm going to wrap up this podcast, guys. Thank you once again for listening to this week's episode of the Any Given Monday podcast. Myself and Eric, take care.
Bye.